Hello my friends, and welcome back to the signal state. When last we left off, we had just finished radar system, and now we have a whole ton of new optional missions. So we will dig right in here with drone accumulator optimization. For now, we can continue working on the harvester drones. There's a variety of optimizations you can make to its processor. Here's one optimization for its accumulator circuit. Alright, let's jump right in here. What do we have? Source 1 is a random signal. Sources 2, 3, and 4 are binary signals, meaning they're either 0 or 100. When source 3 is 100 volts, store the value at source 1 in memory. Okay, what do we got here? That sounds like a sample and hold to me. When source 4 is 100 volts, add the value at source 1 to the value in memory. Oh, I skipped one. Create a single value memory. When source 2 is 100 volts, output the value stored in the memory to out 1. Okay, so we're going to take a sample and hold. Let's see, create a single value memory. When source 2 is 100 volts, output the value stored in memory to out 1. Okay, so then let's grab a VCA. Create a single value memory. When source 2 is 100 volts, output the value stored in the memory to out 1. So presumably if there's nothing stored in the memory, we want to output 0. So I think we want a VCA. I think we want the out. I think we want source 2 to go to drive the VCA. Right? And the in. So this is either going to be 100% or 0%. I think we put the sample and hold, the memory value, into the input here. When source 3 is 100 volts, store the value at source 1 in memory. So source 3 is going to be the gate, and source 1 is the in. So when source 3 goes to 100, we'll store the value of source 1. And then we will return that value based on source 2. And then whenever, let's get another VCA. Our input is, that's going to be driven by source 4. Whenever source 4 is 100 volts, add the value at source 1 to the value in memory. So let's see if we can understand this. Looking at the out 1. So we output 0 because nothing has been stored in the memory yet, because memory is controlled by source 3. And source 4 went to 100, but there's nothing in the memory. Here it's expecting us to output 33. Why 33? Because this time step was 33. So let's try a splitter like this. This gate is not just source 3. We actually need to drive the gate on source 3 or source 4. So let's grab another splitter for source 4. Alright, so if source 3 goes high, then we will grab the value at source 1. I think we actually need a sum of that in this. So if source, this is tricky. So source 3, when source 3 goes high, we will grab the sum of source 1 and this VCA, which is driven off of source 4. So we are adding, so whenever source 4 goes high, because this is also driven off source 4, I think the intent here is that if source 3 is high, grab source 1. If source 4 is high, add source 1 to whatever is already in the gate. And then we output that. Whenever source 2 goes high, we output whatever the value stored in the gate is. I feel like this logic is correct, but it also has enough back and forth that I feel like it's not going to work. Let's just wing it and see what it does. Interesting. That's very interesting. So it looks like I'm actually pretty close. I think this accumulator isn't working because it's outputting 100 instead of the accumulated total. We sum source 1 with the output of the VCA of the previous step and pass that in as a new gate value. Let's see what happens if we step. Okay, so we output 0, which makes sense. And then we'll step again. Input source 1 is 33, source 2 is 0. Source 4 is 100, output is 0. Now this one's wrong. Why is this one wrong? We output 100. We were supposed to output 33. Why? Because the previous step was 33. And we were adding it to 0. So why did we output 100? Source 2 is high, which means we're outputting the value in memory, which is correct. But our value in memory is 100, which is wrong, because it was supposed to be 33 plus 0. But our source 1 is 27. We needed the previous step. All right, let's do this. Let's take this one step at a time. When source 2 is 100 volts, output the value stored in memory to out 1. Get rid of that. So, create a single value memory, sample and hold. So, when source 2 is 100 volts, output the value stored in memory. So, that signal 2 is our gate, signal 1 is our random signal. And let's output. Let's start with this. Why did we output 30? Because we need the previous step. Right. So let's signal delay the input by 1 step. So we output 0 because 0 is in our memory. Now this was, source 2 was 100. The value stored in memory was 0. So now we're gonna step. Now it should not store this because the gate's not open anymore. Why are we outputting 33? Because our gate opened and we grabbed the previous value. Whoa. Okay, what happened? Because our gate was still open. 2 is not the gate. 3 is the gate. 2 is the output. So we need a VCA with the memory as the input and source 2 as the CV. Let's try this. Okay. So we're outputting 0 because that's what's in our memory. Yep, okay, so now we'll step. And we're still outputting 0 because source 2 is off now. Oh, but that's fine because that one should have come from source 4, but we don't have source 4 wired up yet. So now we're going to get this next one wrong as well. Okay. We don't have source 4 wired up yet. Now, here, the next step is going to have source 3 at 100. So that should store 30 in our memory bank. No, it stored 21 because of the delay. Let's get rid of the delay. And just pipe source 1 directly to the memory bank. Okay, yep. Okay. So now here, this next step, source 3 is going to go high, which means we should grab 30 and put it in the memory bank. But because source 2 is low, we should output 0. Okay. Now we have 30 in the memory bank, and source 2 is going to go high, so we should output 30. Okay. Oh yeah. Now, we still don't have source 4 wired up yet. So this next one is going to output 30, which is wrong. Yep. Okay. Yep. Now this next one, source 3 is going to go high. So we should store 15 in our memory. Yep. Okay. And we're going to keep outputting 0. Now 4 is going to go high for a bunch. And then we're going to get this one wrong because we should have been accumulating from source 4, which we don't have wired up. Okay, I think it's clear we've got that part working. Now we need to wire up source 4. So when source 4 is 100 volts, add the value at source 1 to the value in memory. Now, that's kind of tricky to do on a conditional basis. So what would be better is if we always add, but whenever source 4 is not 100, we're adding 0. So to do that, we're going to want another VCA. Source 4 is going to be our control voltage. So whenever source 4 is high, we'll take whatever the input is. Whenever source 4 is low, we take 0. And we want to add some this and whatever is currently in memory. Wait. We want this to go to the in. Huh. Is that right? I'm getting a little tripped up because we need this to go to the in. But we also need this to go to the in. When source 4 is 100 volts, add the value at source 1 to the value in memory. Otherwise, add 0 to the value in memory. Is that right? But that's going to break our source 3. That's not right. That's not right. That's not quite right. It's close, but it's not quite right. Put this back. When source 4 is high, the gate needs to be open whenever source 3 or source 4 I think I want this. Right? Whenever 3 or 4 is high, we need to modify the memory. So that's what this is saying. If 3 is high or if 4 is high, open the gate. Now we need, if 3 is high, just take source 1. If 4 is high, then we want the sum of what's already in the memory and source 1. Is there ever a scenario where sources 3 and 4 are both high at the same time? It doesn't look like it. So either this is going to be high or this is going to be high, but not both. Which means that we can sum these together, because one of them will always be 0, and output the result. Let's try that. Okay, so that all looked good. Source 2 was high, so we output 0. Now, next step, 4 is going to go high, so we should add 33 to 0, and our memory should then hold 33. And we should output 0. Okay, that didn't work. This backtrace didn't work. Why is this 100? The gate is open, and the input value is 100, which is not correct. Because this is 100, because this is 100, because this is 100, because this is 100, because this is 100. That's interesting. So 100 is the maximum voltage, because we're summing 133 here. I feel like I'm running into the same problem I was running into before with the backtrace, right? This wire right here should be 0, not 100. But because it processed multiple times, it screwed things up. Let me try adding a signal delay here of just 1 step. Let's see what that does. Okay. Okay. So now our memory has 33 in it, but we still output 0. So now we should output 33. Okay. Output 33 again. Good. Next step. 4 is going to go high, so we want to add 21 to 33. So we'll output 54. Or 54 should be in memory, but we should output 0. Good. I think we might have it. Now 3 is going to go high, which erases memory and replaces it. So we should set the memory to 30, but we should still output 0. Good. Oh, yes. Should we try it? What do you think? Let's do it. Not the prettiest solution, but it works. Good work. There are a few more optimizations you could work on if you're up to it. All right. They've thrown away all pretense of the story now. And they're just like, go, just keep going, keep moving. All right, signal delay implementation. Do we have time for one more? It's a little tight, but let's give it a shot. There's a part of the processor that can be sped up with a signal delay module, but the wiring patterns are incompatible with our stock modules. You're going to have to implement the behavior of a signal delay module without using a signal delay. That sounds horrendous. I hate everything about this idea. Out 1 receives signals from source 1, but delayed by 1 time step. But I have sample and hold. Output 1 receives signals from source 1, but delayed by 1 time step. So if I just pipe this to in, if the input signal is more than 0, this outputs 0. And we have a clock. Triggers our output at 100 volts. So this outputs 100 volts every other step. I feel like we're gonna want 2 sample and holds. And do something like this. Split this, send 1 to not, grab another VCA. So this will alternate firing the VCAs. Right, because basically each step I want to route the value to a sample and hold and return the value from the other sample and hold, and then I'll flip them. So the next value I'll store in the second sample and hold while I return the value from the first. Which means the other sample and hold should return 0. So, is it actually... Let's just get one wired out. And not even worry about the clock yet. So, we grab source 1, send source 1 to the input. Let's just... and just send that to the output. Now this will not work because it's just going to... Well, we need something to fire the gate. Let's just do an OR and say, no, just say a not. And so this will always output 100 volts. So the gate is always open. So this is very blatantly wrong, but let's try it just to see what happens. Right, so we got 9, we output 9. We got 14, we output 14. That's fine. So now, let's see if we can alternate. I want to see 9, 14. Yeah. So let's see if we can get 2 sample and holds going and alternate them. So let's do this. Let's take a splitter. I need the gate to alternate. Right. So let's run a clock. And we're going to drive... Give me a splitter. We're going to drive the one gate off of the clock, and we're going to drive the other gate off the not of the clock. And let's send source 1 to both inputs. And then... for now, let's just sum the outputs. I'm less concerned about that. What I care about is the values in these, not the value we're returning. So we have 9 and 0. Now 14 should go down here, and this should stay at 9. Yep, and then 14. Now 14 should stay down here, and we should get 13 on top. Yep. Now 13 should stay on top, and we should get 5 on the bottom. Yes. Okay. So now these are alternating. So now we need to return the opposite of the one we're storing. So let's wire these into VCAs and sum the VCA outputs together. Like this. And then this will be our output. Now the control voltage here is going to be the clock. So whenever we run the gate off of this one. All right, so I'm going to need another set of splitters here. Well, yeah, so we want to run the gate off of this, which means we want to run that control voltage off of the clock. And then we're running this gate off of the knot. And so we want to run this control voltage off of the knot. Nine went to the top, but 0 got returned. Should we try it? Let's do it. There you go. So that pattern with having 2 sample and holds and alternating between them, I think that was the solution for the one we got stuck on before, the gear assembly. That's a really powerful pattern. It lets you store a value while returning the other value, and then you can flip-flop them so you can create arbitrarily long delays. That's really, really powerful. Good job. The clock generator in the drone can be improved with the signal delay too. I'll send you the specs. Sure. All right. So, I think that is a pretty good stopping point for that. We got through 2 of the 5 optional missions. We have 3 more optional missions, and then our next mainline story mission. Let's see, how many have we gotten through here? 1, 2, 3, 24, 25, 26. We've gotten through 26 missions. And for some reason, somewhere in my head, I have it in my mind that there are 46 missions in the game. So 20 missions left. We may be a little over halfway through, if that number is correct. I'm not sure where that number came from. I might have made it up, but if so, we're making a pretty good clip. So if you guys are enjoying this series, hit that like button, go down to the comments, let me know. I'm enjoying the game, but again, if you guys are not, then I can take this off, I can play it in my own time and put stuff out that you guys are interested in. I want to thank you all for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you're looking for more, and I will see you next time.